Cannabis. I love it, and you love it. But still in some places, even right here in New York City, people are having a hard time accepting it. Now, while politicians and lawmakers may not be able to fully wrap their heads around it, people like Chef Miguel Trinidad and his celebrated dinner series 99th Floor are using cannabis as a refined ingredient to enhance dining experiences and bring people together. Now, especially with the disproportionate prosecution of Black and brown people for the use of cannabis, while in places like Los Angeles, white America is profiting hand over fist, the work that Chef Miguel is doing is even that much more important. This is more than the next dining revolution. This is important for the culture.
Why is it that it's okay for us to sit and drink, but it's not okay for us to smoke?
It's because of the original stigma behind it. I mean, the reason that weed was made illegal in the first place was to find another reason to incarcerate Black and brown people. It was highly tied to the jazz movement, which was very African American, and they were trying to shut all that down. It was
strategically stigmatized.
It's hard to say anything about New York that hasn't been said before. It's amazing. A trend-setting metropolis where you can lose yourself, find yourself, get lost in the crowd, or reach millions. These things give you the sense that New York offers a kind of ultimate freedom, and in some ways it does. But when it comes to cannabis, this city's history is far from forgiving. Even today, cannabis laws in New York are highly restrictive. Yet, native New Yorker Miguel Trinidad has chosen not to take his fine dining cannabis experience elsewhere, forgoing significant profits, instead electing to stay and try and change things. Why? Well, that's what I'm here to find out. That, and to eat some incredible edibles. There are no reservations for 99th Floor, no set address, and you have to know somebody to get invited. The law says it has to be this way, but still, there's nothing sketchy about Miguel's exclusive club. Wow.
Welcome to Bushwick.
This is incredible, dude.
This is the crew.
How are we doing, guys? Hey. How are we doing? Justin, very nice to meet you. Thank you guys for having me. The instant you walk into Miguel's kitchen, it's impossible to think he's just some pothead trying to get people high. The space is gorgeous. Every spotless square foot screaming, this is fine dining. And Miguel, he's a fine dining chef. His cannabis-infused cuisine is both an art and a science.
What we do at 99th Floor is we provide an experience. Mm-hmm. It's not just come here, get high, eat. You're in a safe space with like-minded individuals. Even the seating is calculated because you want introverts to be with extroverts. Right?
You're cultivating this, this entire experience from every detail of this dinner.
Absolutely.
So we're making canna cheese. It's like a simple kind of ricotta style process. More milk, we're gonna introduce some acid, let it curdle.
Right.
But we're gonna put a cannabis extract in the cheese.
We're actually gonna put some flour in it.
Oh, you're gonna steep actual flour in there.
So we're gonna steep actual flour. So I decarb it at about 210 degrees for about 30 minutes. It should be ready to go just about now.
Should I pull it out?
Just pull it out and we're gonna dump that straight in the milk.
When you're doing this, what is the reason for decarbing it?
The reason to decarb it is to activate it. If you just take straight flour and eat it, it's THCA. Once you apply heat to it, it becomes THC, which is a psychoactive effect.
Right.
That balance of THC and CBD is going to give you that euphoria that you need.
But it's got that nutty aroma to it.
Exactly. The notes that you're getting right now in the nose, they're kind of citrusy.
Absolutely.
Okay? Mild earthiness for the flavor profile. And just like picking fresh vegetables at the market, this was the best stuff that was around.
Okay.
I want the highest quality herb in order to get the flavor that I want. And this determines the menu that we made today.
You like to use animal fats for extractions, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What is your reasoning or your science behind using animal fats versus other products for extraction?
Well, sustainability. You can use any type of fat in order to infuse that meal. So I'm taking that beef, the scraps, I'm rendering that fat, I'm infusing that fat, and now I'm gonna use that same beef
Introducing
fat
it right back into the dish.
Right back in.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So, there's flavor, there's sustainability. I think that's really cool. Do we need to pull this off?
We need to pull it off.
So what is kind of your sweet spot for how many milligrams you want to serve in a dinner?
My sweet spot is about 25 milligrams.
Okay.
20 to 25 is a good number. I'm not saying as a gummy, I'm saying as a meal, because a 25 milligram gummy might put somebody on their ass. I compare it to drinking a bottle of wine.
Right.
So you're not gonna chug a bottle of wine, which would be the equivalent of taking the 25 milligram gummy.
All at once.
Right? You're gonna take it throughout the course of the night. It's gonna change your mood. This meal lasts about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
By third course, you're feeling a little giggly, you're loose.
Relaxed.
Yeah, your neck is
Conversation.
loose.
And I am noticing some particulates in there.
It's intentional.
It's intentional.
I don't want big buds, I want tiny buds.
Okay.
And now we're just adding the acid. Break it down, let that curdle.
Are you doing any CBD in this meal?
Oh, there is CBD. The introduction of CBD into a meal will help you level out. Imagine putting gas in your car without having oil.
Okay.
You need a little CBD in order to get the engine moving.
I love it. Should we strain this cheese?
Let's strain the cheese.
All right. 99th Floor is more than another way to enjoy cannabis. Miguel's choice to use cannabis in food is deeply rooted in the Latin community where he grew up on the Lower East Side. So while his team continues prepping for tonight's dinner, Miguel and I take a trip to his old neighborhood to dig deeper into his history and his motivation for working in such a controversial cuisine. So lifelong New Yorker,
Yes.
Lower East Side, born and raised.
Yes.
Did I hear a rumor you were born in the backseat of a New York City taxi cab?
Well, according to my mother, the story is, she broke water in that building across the street.
Okay.
And hopped in a New York City taxi cab. I was out before she even got there.
Wow. So truly
Truly
born and
New York.
raised. I love
Truly
it.
New York.
You were out here in the 70s, so I mean, a lot's probably changed in this neighborhood since then, yeah?
Oh, so much. I mean, this building over here to our right was the Essex Street Market.
Okay.
Which, has moved across the street to New LES.
Yep.
But this was a hub where all the Latinos came and shopped. So
Okay.
it's like most of the businesses in here were Latino owned. You had your botanicas, you had your butchers, but it's changed so much since. I mean, the shops are different, the vibe is different, even the people in the neighborhood are different.
You've recently merged your chef career with the cannabis industry, yeah?
Recently, we started doing it professionally.
Okay.
But cannabis has been a part of my life since I was a teenager. Right? Didn't really understand the scope of it until the challenge came up about cooking with cannabis.
What year was this?
This was back in 2016.
Okay, so we're still heavily illegal, at that time. What are some of the similarities you see then, between the food world and the cannabis industry?
Well, people love cannabis, same way they love food.
Right? Fair enough.
So, what desired effect you want to get? If you eat fried foods, you're going to be bloated. If you eat, healthy food, you get energized. You can get all of those things from cannabis in different strains.
Yeah. So I mean, in the early days and even now, though, I mean, with where legalization is, still nervous when you're throwing these events?
I'll tell you, in the beginning, it was very nerve-wracking because, we were entering new territory. We didn't want to draw attention to ourselves. We were starting a movement.
Right.
And we were changing the conversation about cannabis. Like, we don't allow any smoking at our events.
Okay.
It's all about the food. It's all about the strain. It's all about the culture, the cannabis culture and the cannabis community.
So I mean, ultimately, you found your passion in this. But why is this work so important to you? What is it? What is the mission here?
I mean, the mission with 99th Floor is we want to destigmatize cannabis through the universal language of food.
Okay.
And the way we do that is by microdosing.
Microdosing means taking a small, controlled amount of THC to unlock its medicinal properties or to achieve a desired effect, not just to get high.
We can change the scope of the way people look at it. If we can change the conversation, the way people use it, then it can expand into the Latino community. I mean, I grew up in the Lower East Side with a Dominican mother who was dead against anything. If you smoke weed, you were a drug addict.
You're done. Yep.
That's it, you're done. All right? But, as Latinos, we can go out and party and drink all weekend long.
Yep.
I saw my mother going through a lot of ailments and taking a lot of pills, that the doctors were prescribing for this, for that, She was sleeping all day, and I said, Mom, try these cannabis. And it took a while. I got her to try one.
Yep.
And I swear to God, I saw her skip. If I can put that in a mangú, in a pastelón, with some rice and beans,
Right.
Latinos are more likely to ingest it than if I was just to give them a drink.
I love it. It's a beautiful thing.
Amen.
The story of Miguel's mom is all too familiar. Cannabis use is often just as much about health as it is about recreation. As dinner prep comes to a head, it's easy to get hyped for the recreation, but I'm also excited to experience what takes 99th Floor to another level, the company and the conversation. Before the cameras even start rolling, Miguel hits us with a refreshing THC-infused cocktail, starting us off with 2 milligrams before dinner even hits the table.
Okay, mi gente, vamos a una bulla. Okay. Tonight's a special night, man. I got my friend Justin Sutherland here. We're gonna show him how 99th Floor does it tonight. All right, so get ready for a good night, people.
got here, Chef?
It is springtime, so this is some sweet pea chilled soup, lump crab meat, some decadent caviar, and a beautiful chorizo oil. Now, the chorizo has CBD in it, but the kicker is the cheese. It's a can of cheese that Justin helped me make today, and most of the infusion comes in that, when it comes to THC. So this dish is about 4 milligrams.
Thank you, Chef.
Enjoy.
Incredible. So what do you guys think?
Delish. Is this your first time doing THC cheese?
First time doing THC cheese. I've done
It's a very specific niche.
very specific. I've done THC a lot of stuff, but it was my first cheese for sure.
This is a look when the edibles kick in. To introduce the next dish in front of you, we wanted to keep in New York. So there's a hollandaise that has everything bagel seasoning. We took some carrots and parsnips, all these fresh fruit vegetables, along with some cauliflower from the farmer's market, and just roasted them and glazed them in a little can of butter. So this right here is 4 milligrams. Who's keeping count?
10! I love that you use that everything bagel seasoning. A lifelong New Yorker, Lower East Side. Is that something that's important to you? I mean, representing New York?
Absolutely. Come on. It's like New York is going to be the cannabis capital of the world.
Right. That hollandaise is incredible.
Thank you. Well, enjoy.
Very good. Thank you, Chef.
And I love that the vegetables were kept very simple and just, celebrating what they were, and you dip it in that hollandaise. From stories of lessened anxiety to vanished pain, cannabis has helped everyone at this table. Several tell me how Miguel's food has convinced their traditional families to accept cannabis as a valuable medicine. But all are asking the same question: how do we get policymakers to take notice?
To have a meal this decadent, this healthy, that's good for your body, and then the fact that it's infused on top of that, it's sort of hard to fight against that.
Here you got a halibut roulade. So the green that's all around the fish is cannabis that has been dried. It's sitting on an ají amarillo onion sauce. This right here is another 4 milligrams.
Where are we at, everybody?
14!
So, Chef, you've almost turned this into a science. I mean, you've learned everything about this. You speak about it so articulately. What would you say to the legislators and the lawmakers who clearly have not wrapped their head around this, to the medicine that you're providing?
Well, the first thing I would say is eat this.
Right.
It's not about just getting high. We're also changing that conversation very much. Like we try to convince our parents to stop taking all of these pills. It's important in the Latino community to really learn about this. Because, they're killing us off one by one.
Right.
Yeah.
There's pills, take this pill for that, take this pill for that. This can solve that problem. If we invest a little bit more money into it and understand, we're endocannabinoid systems. It's like we were meant to consume this plant.
Right.
It was meant to help us in many different ways, from depression, anger, hunger, physical pain.
Our communities need to be involved in the change of cannabis and how it's changing into from what it was, the street stuff, to something more formal.
You're right. We do have to have a voice in the change. Right now everybody operates in the legacy market. It's been what has sustained our communities for years. And now that transition into the legal market has been benchmarked with tons of hurdles. People of color need to stick together and help lift each other up in order to get past these hurdles, because big business is going to come and just snatch it all up.
The conversations are happening, but I think they're happening on a small scale like we're having them right now. They're definitely not happening on large enough levels. The amount of people that have been, imprisoned and had their lives ripped away from them for the same thing that we're sitting down here doing right now, and the same thing that multi-million-dollar companies are profiting from in LA. They owe us something.
If we can change the mindset, this right here is life. Fast food is death.
Right.
And if the community can just change the mindset, this can be accepted.
I like it.
Part of me feels like they can't legalize it on a federal level, because if they did, A, it would unjustify all the people that are in jail, and B,
That's
they
what
would
it
have to
is.
let them out. And we still have so many for-profit prisons. They wouldn't know what to do. As soon as the scale tips to where they're going to make more money without having people in jail, then it will.
Yeah. And so at the end of the play, literally we were in line at the intermission. We were in line.
See, one of the things about these dinners is the community and the table that gets invited to sit. The people that get to sit at the table.
How high are you?
Very.
I mean, every chef has to taste his work.
But in front of you, you have a light dish, but it's heavier. So it's gonna slow everything down. Right? You have red meat, you have a beautiful demi-glace, you get a couple of milligrams in the meat. The sauce has another milligram. And the potatoes are tossed in a little bit of butter, but it has some CBD in it. We're talking 3.5. Beautiful people, beautiful food, good company. Enjoy, guys.
You need smaller.
I need smaller hands. No, I'd rather take a bigger fork. I mean, it's super subtle, but on the back end, like you can taste it.
It comes up like an herb, though.
Yeah,
you know?
it is. It's like herbaceous, it's floral.
Yeah.
The pond and
Well, why vegetables? Mushrooms aren't really a vegetable, though.
You guys are in for a treat. This is Victoria. She's the pastry chef for 99th Floor.
All right, guys, so we got this sweet little ending for you, and I made you a milk boy, which means a million layers. In between that, we have a sherry and white chocolate cream. We have some sherry macerated cherries as well, with some chocolate crumble, as well as pistachio gelato on top. Sage powder to finish, and we're rocking 5 milligrams at the finale of this meal.
22 and a half.
Enjoy, guys.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel? Do you feel like it's too much?
No, amazing.
I feel like I had 22 and a half minutes.
Precisely.
You know, this plan is about community. Yeah, you know, we all smoke it on our own, but it's a joint brought people together. You know, you were sharing this, and now it's in the food, so why not share it at the table as well?
Miguel, I have a question. 99th Floor. How did that name come about?
There's people that cook with cannabis, right? And then there's 99th Floor. There's a thought process behind what we do. We just don't slap it together and call ourselves cannabis chefs.
Right.
We're chefs. I hate that term, cannabis chef.
Right. Yep.
So it's just another ingredient.
It's been an absolute incredible day. I mean, you know, walking the streets with you, hearing your stories about growing up in the city, just to the education that, I mean, I came out of here learning so much about a product that I already love. I mean, something that I partake in, and you just brought my, you know, knowledge of this, you know, to the 99th Floor. Just want to thank you. But I got more cannabis to eat, and I think you're off, so you should probably come sit down with us and have some yourself, but thank you. Now maybe it's the dessert talking, but saying this dinner is wrong feels like saying everything great about sharing meals. Hell, about happiness in general is wrong too. The path Miguel's chosen might not be easy, but it's necessary. New York is a trend-setting city after all, and if cannabis can make it here, well, do I even need to say it?